Smiley shot this shit.
Smiley and Memoriiies Media.
Shout out to Memoriiies Never Die. Y'all already know.
Shout out to Smiley and Memoriiies Media.
Shout out to my boy Smiley, man. Y'all already know.
How y'all doing today? It's a Memoriiies Media podcast with your boy Greg Smiley. We got a special guest in the building with us today.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. NoTap.
RealWaterNoTap.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. How you doing today, Will?
You know, it's all love. We love here. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. So tell the people who you are and where you from.
Well, my name Daniel Eastlies, commonly known as RealWaterNoTap. I was born in Fort Lauderdale, raised up in Savannah. I came up here when I was about 7, 8 years old. And that time, my little brother died from crib death, from SIDS, right after getting the vaccine. And, it kind of split my family up. So then my daddy from up here, so my mama ended up liking it up here. So that back and forth relationship between my grandma and my mama up in Savannah kind of ended up being my roots. And then, as I got older, I just chose to be in Savannah. Caught a few cases when I was like, in college. I went to Savannah State, caught a couple cases, and then went down there for a little while. And then I said, man, I like it in Savannah. So I had to, come up here and face all my charges. But then after that, I said, man, Savannah my home. So yeah, that's kind of been what it is.
So tell the people, what was life for you when you was growing up in Florida?
Florida was different, especially I'm from South Florida, like Palm Beach County, West Palm Beach, Delray Beach, Boca, that area, that South Palm Beach County area. And it's, down there you got to be tough regardless, bro. Like growing up in Savannah, tough means street. But growing up in South Florida, I don't care if you ride skateboards or you just, whatever you do, you got to be tough. So, I ain't never really chose the streets in South Florida, but it was like that toughness coming to Savannah always just made me street. And then, we was always like in the projects and, shelters and stuff like that. So the environment was always there, but just South Florida life was a whole lot different. A lot of cultures, a lot of different things being exposed to. But like I said, just in general down there, you just had to have a general toughness. And in Savannah, you kind of could be just a regular person and don't really have to be nothing and people won't mess with you. But if you is tough, it's like automatically, boy, he a street dude. And
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got used to those cultures growing up and just balanced it out a little bit. But I always was like street in Savannah. In Savannah, I always be like street. Me and my little brother, I always be like, boy, we street. And then we'll go back to Florida and be like, boy, you gotta stay out of the way. You know what I'm saying?
So answer me this, comparing it to Florida, what was life for you growing up in Savannah?
Like I said, it was a little different. Like, the projects up here, my mama, she Puerto Rican woman, but, she always had love, you feel me? And we always had like the, liquor house or however. So like, we always had a bunch of people and I always was the one watching all the children. And in Florida, it's like, bro, in the projects, you ever seen Minister Society? Like the projects used to look like that, 40, 50 people standing outside your door. Like, you don't want no parts of it. And back then there used to be 300, 400 people dying a year. So like every day it's a murder. Every day it just was different. So like I said, it just was a different life, even though we was in the same situations as children. We just even moved different because it was like, look, you ain't really had no parts of that because we ain't officially, like Savannah, you could kind of just drop in and be part of what's going on. In Florida, if you ain't part what they got going on, you don't just gonna get involved because you're gonna get stepped on real quick.
Yeah. So what was life growing up in Fraser Homes and Yamacraw and Tatumville? Like,
oh man, it was love. You feel me? Like, especially like Fraser was like, we was still, cause was in the Salvation Army. We ain't had our own place yet. So like Fraser Homes, we was staying with people. That's where I met Fraser Home Pimp and Thoke and Phil and all them boys, Tank, all them boys. I was about 9 years old. I was 99, 2000. My mom used to have a van. I remember my mom used to ride through the projects with the van door wide open. Everybody knew that meant we was going to the beach. You see people running. I was talking about jumping in the van. We have a van full, but we go hit Tabby. You know what I mean? It was always like that up here, especially in the Yamacraw, like, and then my mama really blended Fraser Homes and Yamacraw back then. You feel me? So like all the old OGs, because Fraser Homes and Yamacraw used to mess with each other like that. So like when my mama kind of brought that together, like they used to be walking back and forth and we used to too, you know what I mean? First day in Yamacraw, Smack, people probably still know Smack, but Smack, I'm about 10, bro. Smack about 14, 15, right? I got a bamboo stick. I go out and we in Yamacraw, we stayed in the top, but we went to the park in the bottom. I'm swinging my stick. I used to like the sticks. I remember Smack came up there and was like, hey, what's up with y'all? Where y'all from? We Fraser Homes, Fraser Homes. Smack like, oh, it is? where y'all stay at? I said, oh, we like, across the street. He said, oh, y'all up in the top. Y'all need to go to the top part. We're like, man, look, the top part was bumped. So we like, man, nah, we came down here. He said, over there, he said, you want your stick? I'm like, yeah, I want my stick. He said, what if I take your stick? I said, you ain't gonna take my stick. My boy snatched the stick. I'm talking about big stick, bro, like a broomstick. Swung, hit me in my ribs. Boom. I'm with my big brother, his sister, and my little brother. Now my big brother, Miss Claudette, that was Miss Claudette's son. He became my big brother. But you know, back then we were just best friends still. I remember, bro, as soon as I got hit in the ribs with the stick, I turned around and Mark and Joy already was up, already was by the mailboxes. And my little brother was right there trying to push him. And then it was sand back then in the projects.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to run. I slip in the sand. I fell on my knees. Smack came with the stick and bah, bust me in the head, split my head wide open right here. That was right before the hurricane hit around that time too. I remember we had to evacuate, and my mama knew I had light sticks, and we was evacuated. She was like, "You want that stick?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't want no sticks." I ain't lying, but like I said, it was like, you know, we had little altercations here and there, had little problems here and there, just growing up in the projects. But for me, it was we always felt like it was love up here compared to like in Florida. It was kind of just shut your door and stay to yourself. You feel me? So I enjoyed it up here in Savannah.
So you spoke on Fraser Homes and
Yamacraw.
Can you speak on that a little bit more? Elaborate
Yeah, it was like projects, bro. Like in the '90s, like, you know, and then like even when I got a little older, cause you know I'm like 10 at the time, you know what I'm saying? But like even as I got older, like as a teenager, like neighborhoods like Fraser Homes and Tatumville, and like, bro, wherever you was from is where you was from. That's how Savannah was. Like I remember meeting people, and we was always exposed to a lot of stuff. But I remember meeting people, they didn't even know how to get to Price Street from Tatumville, and I'm like, huh? Like Savannah ain't nothing but this big. You don't even know how to get. So it's like, and the culture kind of changed a little bit. But I remember back then, bro, wherever you from, that's the stores you went to, that's the area you stayed in, and that's just how people was. So like, it really wasn't like, I wouldn't claim like it was like neighborhood, Fraser Homes and Yamacraw had problems more so than they didn't interact like that because they wasn't from the same projects.
Yeah.
So, you know, because I can't speak on what the specific was back then. I just know the city was back then, wherever you from, that's where you from. You feel me?
So having to live like that, not being able to go to certain areas because of where you was from, how it felt to you as a child, you know what I'm saying?
It was different. I remember like we used to have to, if we wore red, we thought to put a safety pin or a Band-Aid on our clothes. Like in Yamacraw, you know what I'm saying? Because we were on the west side, we don't wear no red, you know what I'm saying? Even it was before it was Crip and blood and all that. It was just like, bro, you on that west? You ain't wearing no red. You feel what I'm saying? If it is, like I said, we had to have, but like I didn't wear a lot of red anyway. We was always like, went where we wanted to go. I would say we just respect the land, because my mom, we moved around so much, bro. We stayed in Carr Village, Fraser Homes, Cloverdale, West Savannah. We stayed all over the place. So like, and we would go, we always was a family where on Saturdays, it was cleanup days. We got the radio outside. The whole neighborhood know we jamming. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cooking out. Like, we always had it like that. So I never really felt like that. Like, we used to walk from Fraser Homes to Cloverdale Pool. Everybody in Carr Village meet us. Like, we'd be deep. By the time we get to the pool, we 20, 30 deep with people from all over. You know what I mean? That was just always who we was. And I got that spirit from my mama. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what that story, what is the story behind RealWaterNoTap, and how did your backstory with you growing up in Savannah and Florida influence RealWaterNoTap? That's
a good question. The kind of street aspect of it is no cut. You know what I'm saying? It's raw. Like it's uncut. Like Flaws used to say, it's uncut. Like, but it was kind of more like esoteric, spiritual aspect to it as well, because it was like being clean and being holistic, right? And it just had to do with a lot of things. Like I say, being my mama's oldest child, and I raised a lot of the youngest in the projects because their mamas was drinking with my mama, you know what I mean? And, you know, I was the oldest. So like, it kind of just prepared me for that, just being authentic and being real. Like I said, just being exposed to so much. And so I kind of blended, like, I wanted something still street, because like, he was like, no cap, no tap, uncut, clean dope. You know what I mean? I was just like thinking. And it was just like, it came to me because I was already going to get the real water. And then it hit me. I'm thinking of like 4PL. I'm thinking of how them boys kind of like put their label before their name at the time. And I'm like, Real Water. Okay, I'm thinking of a name. And I'm like, oh, no tap. The label Real Water, I'm no tap. So I'm like, okay, RealWaterNoTap. So it kind of hit me like that, like an instant. I'm like, boy, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Feel me?
Yeah, that makes sense. So who would you say Real Water make music for? What demographic?
I made music for the streets, to be honest. I made music for like people that got similar demographics to me, like, you know, because even growing up, like, yeah, I remember in Yamacraw, I was in a magnet program. So like the bus would come get me, I'd be the only one getting on my bus to go to Butler. Everybody else going to Garrison, or, you know what I'm saying? Everybody else going to Hubert, I'm going to Durant. So like, you know, I kind of was like, that thorn that grew through the rows. I mean, that rose that go, that grew through the concrete, you know what I'm saying? So that was always my story, but I was exposed to a lot. I just didn't have that realm to kind of do how I really wanted to be. Cause I remember, man, my mom and them getting drunk, smoking cigarettes. I'd be like, well, I ain't never gonna smoke a cigarette. I ain't never gonna drink, cause I ain't like that jive growing up. And they used to make me blow. I'd get up, go to get ready for school. I'm looking for my shoes. I find a 12-gauge shotgun. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I remember crying. I'm crying like, boy. My mama gotta be like, oh, you ain't gotta go to school today. Cause I'm like, boom. Yeah. I'm finding pounds in the closet. You know what I mean? Just different stuff. So for me, and you know, I got involved with that stuff as I got older, but I always had that mind of like, man, I wanted to do right. So, you know, it kind of put it in my music as ones that got things to overcome and got challenges they want to go through and get and be better to kind of be able to do that. And even if people didn't live like that when they was young, I met a lot of people that, you know, whether it's the feds, whether they got shot, there's like, man, they had an epiphany. They want to be better, but then you don't really have that type of music to make them better. You don't really got that type of music to make you relate to your past, but also make you relate to being better. Yeah. So I would say you don't really have to be African American or black or however, but if you've been through a little something and you want to be better, my music really for you.
How do you react to being labeled as like a conscious rapper? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it a lot, bro.
Do you take that as disrespect, or how you move around that?
No, I don't take it as disrespect. I take it as a lot of people confuse really the what is what when it comes to just trying to be right, or really like when it comes to like the art aspect of it. So, and you know, in a sense, conscious rapper is right. You know what I mean? Because it is, you putting consciousness in your raps. I just do more than rap, and then for me, a rapper is more so the part that's a little disrespectful than anything else. Even though I am a rapper, but I'm an artist. Like I put my heart in this, I put my soul in this. It's not just rapping, you feel me? Cause like, I feel like rapping got a bad
connotation to it?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm an artist, bro. Like I could take you somewhere. If you really listen to the words, I could take you somewhere. But the conscious aspect don't really bother me, cause like I said, it is conscious. You know what I'm saying? For what that word means in a general sense. I think the rapper part is the only thing, but for me, I don't really trip by it. It don't really make me nothing, because I get people, they just say I look like a conscious rapper. They don't even know I make music. I gotta be like, I do rap. I am a conscious rapper. So you know what I'm saying? They don't really bother me.
I can do it. So how did you get into philanthropy?
I could say, like I said, kind of my life path, bro. Like I said, as a child, and even like as I got through the streets, man, I remember, man, we might pop beans or however, man, we might be up all night and, you know, wilding, 7 in the morning, sun coming out, and we like, man, we got to make a plan. We got to do better. Like, we got to get right. And you know what I mean? We young, we still thugging, we still trapping, but it always was the consciousness aspect in there. And then, you know, just as you learn, I always had a relationship with education. So as you know, as I learned about the law of attraction, learned about eating better, and then I wanted to be healthier, and then it started making me better. It was easy for me to say, I got to do this for the people, because I've always been a leader, you know what I mean?
What made you hit the switch to want to give back? Like, what was there a certain event in your life that made you switch your life around, or was it just in time that you just switched your life around?
Man, people that really know me know I went through a few phases, bro. Like, I went through a phase, like when I was like 19 and I first found the Lord, because I ain't really grew up in the church, you feel me? And I had a real experience with God talking to me at my first job, like telling me what to do and what not to do. And like, oh, I was washing dishes. He like, oh, these dishes represent your problems. And you need to do your big problems first and then the little problems. And I'm like, man, I'm tripping. Let me do the little ones. Whole rack fall. He like, all right, now I done told you, you feel me? So I'm like, I remember that day I went and cut my locks off. Well, I give my life to Christ, you feel me? And then, you know, as I kind of worked my way back into the streets and worked my way back into stuff, I used to take people to Bible study then, straight off the block, you feel me? Like, fresh out the hood, ain't never seen nothing. Them boys got to put the guns up. And they like, huh? So like I said, it was always part of my mission. But I think like when my son was born, that year was very crucial for me. The year before I had a child that wasn't mine. my pastor died that year. 'Cause I had got back into the Bible and all about that time. About 5, 6 years later, I'm about 25, and that kind of pushed me to the point where I got to actually be actions behind this stuff more than just talk about it and still kind of live the way I live. And I say like that was one key event, but I learned about the law of attraction around that same time. I learned about veganism about the same time. So I say it was an aspect of just who I am and just kind of that stuff happening. But my son being born was a big thing.
I can dig. So it's not like, I mean, me hearing your story, it's like you like dealing with a lot of trauma a little bit.
Yeah.
What was the process of making They Died? Having to name out everybody in the song that passed away that was close to you.
I wanted to, you know, I had just came up with a RealWaterNoTap, right? So I wanted to rebrand myself because everybody always knew me as Young Bros, but I never officially dropped nothing. You feel me? I had dropped like in high school a diss song versus Groves, and you know what I mean? I was just like known as freestyle. People knew I freestyle real hard. And then, so once I came up the RealWaterNoTap aspect, I said, man, I got to drop a single. What's gonna be my first single, my first song? Because I had dropped a few songs with God Amaj already. So I'm like, man, I need to drop my own song. They Died hit me like this. And I'm like, boy, that's a hit. So I rode around the hood. I sent it to Big Poochie. I sent it to a couple people. They like, boy, Hot Rod. They like, boy, that's a hit, right? Boo ain't had died yet. Long live Boo. Rouse ain't died yet. So I remember I seen his car, but I rode past him that day. And then he like I ended up finding out he died like a week, not even a whole week later. And I'm like, huh? Because I had to go back and add him in the song because he wasn't in the song originally because he wasn't dead. Yeah. So it was like, it was urgency to put this out. And like, oh, that's got to be the song. That's got to be the song. And yeah, bro, it was a process because like I had to call all those folks. Because if you look at the video, I got death dates at the end. I got pictures in the video. I got to call folks like, hey, I ain't talked to you in 10 years, but you got a picture of auntie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a process. So it was about a 90-day process, bro, just like crying and just going through like the emotions of really feeling everybody because I really wanted the song to be heartfelt and I really wanted people to really know like about those folks and just about all of us had really done been through some trauma, not really about their names or who they are specifically to me, but who we all are to the world and how we go through that process. And it's like, man, a healing journey for real. So yeah. I say it was very emotional, but it was heartfelt as well. Cause like, you know, having to talk to folks and getting the pictures and then working with shooting Savannah so closely, it was very intensive. You know what I mean?
So you, at the end of the day, do you feel like it helped making the song or it made the process of grieving worse?
It helped. It helped. And even now, like when I go through stuff, it give me a little something to go back to and listen to, bro. But the people that heard the song, that had family members in the song, brother, it's like so much healing was done from that song. So much healing still could be done from that song. I played that song at Sapelo Island last year, and I remember one of the elders came up to me and said half the name she heard was somebody from Sapelo Island she knew. So like, I'm calling people I know, and she like, oh, she felt like I was chanting a Sapelo Island chant. So it was like, you know, and I've been in different environments with somebody that said something like that to me. So, you know, it's a lot of healing that came through that song. So I'm grateful that I went through that process. For me, sometimes grieving, we take it as a bad thing, but grieving ain't always a bad thing, bro. It's a release process, just like rain. And sometimes we got to be able to just let ourselves do that. So I'm glad sometimes I just turn that song on, bro. It can make me cry. Sometimes I could turn it on to jam. So, you know what I mean? I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. So another traumatic experience that you went through was recently on Sapelo Island. Mm-hmm. Am I saying the name correctly?
I say Sapelo. I heard it say Sapelo mostly.
Sapelo? Mm-hmm. Okay. So on October 19th on 2024, an unfortunate event took place on the historic Sapelo Island where the aluminum ferry gangway collapsed, causing the deaths of 7 people. Ms. Jacqueline Carter, Ms. Cynthia Gibbs, Dr. Charles Houston, William Johnson, Carlotta McIntosh, Isaiah Thomas, and Queen Welch. And now those 7 deceased people are now known as the Sapelo 7.
Sapelo 7, yep.
Who were attending an annual cultural event.
Yep.
3 other people were critically injured. Can you explain what happened this day?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I said, it was my second year performing out there, bro. So you know, this a Gullah Geechee festival, black festival. You know what I mean? You know, it's descendants of slaves. They got that land. They fighting for it. They've been fighting for it for years, and learning about it last year was really like something. So I was grateful to be invited back out there, and you know, it was powerful. We talking, we delivered our messages, and me and my son jumped on stage with me, performing in front of all these people. Great day, and we like had a tour, we went to see everything, bro, and we getting on the ramp, they're like, go back home, and just like, you hear it, boom, this loud noise. And everybody kind of like, oh, froze, right? I'm like, shh, I got my son, I'm pushing folk. Go, I don't know what's happening. I just know I'm from the street, I haven't been in too many situations, like, go. Ramp, go, and hit the water. But like, you know, I jumped like off the ramp onto it's like a concrete, you feel me? Cause we like a little center block for the boat. Pull my son up, like his legs literally hit the concrete, cause like he would've fell. Throw him on a boat. I run back down. Captain and close the fence. I'm like, Cap, man, there's people in the water. They tripping, everybody panicking at first, bro. Because I don't really know what's happening. We don't know if the boat's sinking. You really don't know what's happening yet. You just know like people just going frantic, bro. So it's like, yeah. I just remember like when I first really got back to that water, really everybody hadn't sunk yet, right? It was like, they had a certain look on their face though, like, please save me, you feel me? And I just like, there wasn't nothing we could do. You feel me? Once they hit the water, you gotta imagine 40 black people in the water right on top of each other, because the ramp felt like a V almost. So like, you got like 40 people right on top of each other. You know, black folks really can't swim like that, you feel me? So like, you look in the water, I could swim, but when I looked in the water, it just looked like splashing and dashing. And it was like, bro, it looked like a suicide mission to try to jump in that water for real. And it's like, no, I couldn't make that decision to jump in with my child up here and really not knowing what was going on. So like, I pulled about 3-4 people out, and in the midst of like 3-4 minutes, I seen at least 3 people float off dead, you feel me? And I remember, after I got a couple people out, I had to be like, boy, I gotta take a break, because I had threw my phones down. And I ain't really like, I ain't really know where it was at. So like, once I seen a couple people die like that, I'm like, boy, somebody gotta know where I'm at. Cause like, nobody know what's going on. And I'm like, so I tried to find my phones, couldn't find them. So I went back to helping. It literally had been about 30, 40 minutes. We did everything we could do. Get everybody out the water. You look at the beach, it's CPR, bodies. People running out of stuff to cover the bodies with. Just bodies. Everybody just laid out. Ain't no police. Ain't no helicopter. And it's like, we had a moment on the boat. We was like, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, ain't no help. And it was like, it gave you this dark feeling, bro. Like this dark feeling in your chest was just like empty. I don't call the police. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust no police. I got been under my head 10 years old messing with police. And there's plenty of situations I can talk about police. So, but this day here, I expected them to be there. You feel me? I expected somebody to be there. And when they wasn't, it gave us that feeling, bro. And we really had to go through that as a people. And it was like, I bet you if this wasn't a black event, there would have been some help there quicker. And it's like, I don't like to feel like that, because I'm like a unity type person, but it's like, you know, also I got this skin and I've been dealing with this my whole life, so I know how it is for real. Yeah. And it really felt like one of them situations where it's like, oh, let them drown. Like, oh, we'll get there in a minute. That's really how I felt, bro. But it was a tragic situation, but the Sapelo 7, bro, and it, like them elders, they ascended to be our angels, you feel me? Because if you really know the power behind the number 7, bro, that's a very, very divine number.
Did you get a chance to talk to you, like have a full discussion with your son about the incident since it happened?
Yes, multiple times. You know, for him, you know, he's 9.
Yeah, as a child, how you think it affected him? What did you take away from him seeing those deaths as a child?
Children resilient, I say that. You know, he said something that he still thinks about, right? And I asked him, the last time I just had him, you know, we talked about it multiple times since then. I asked him, I said, what's on your mind specifically? And he like, really is when the initial noise hit and the first panic hit. That's really what's on his mind the most. And you know, it's tragic. It's It's traumatizing, you feel me? Cause I'm like, come on, I'm dragged, like, boy, come on. Shh. Throw him on a boat. Daddy gone. I got to go get people out the water. So for him, I still remember his face when that first happened. He didn't really know what was happening. I had to get him right. I had to get a couple people right, because most people, it was literally a girl on the boat, and I ain't gonna be too like descriptive, because people could probably find out who she is, but her child was in the water, bruh. And she would walk around for at least 5 minutes, like everything was good, until she was like, oh, where my child at? Because she was so happy to be alive. So you gotta think how traumatizing it was for certain people that never really been in a street situation like that. And yeah, like I said, I think that initial moment for my child was really the only thing, because he never been in no funk like that. Like, we grew up hearing gunshots, running, jumping on the floor, and you know what I'm saying? I remember little stuff like that, but my son ain't never seen nothing like that. For him, that was the first real moment of like that funk for real. And I think that's the really thing that's eating him or like on his mind the most.
Yeah. Since you've been home, how do you feel with the incident like that happening? Because you have said, like, back in the day, like, you don't went through some traumatic incidents also, but with this one being recently, like, any changes to your daily life since going through something like that?
Man, I had to tell a couple of my partners, because they like, man, you know, we done seen this and we done seen that. And I'm like, bruh, it's different watching innocent people die than being in something funky. You feel me? It's different. And for me, yeah, it's been eating me up a little bit. You know, I got natural like PTSD and certain little things, because like, I'm out there to support the community. I'm out there for the people. To witness people die, it's like, yeah, it's something, bro, because like I say, when you know somebody doing something or they get killed trapping or rapping about something, it's sad, but it's different than. And like I say, seeing it, I literally watched a few people take their last breath and go under. So I think it's a different, and I try to get a couple people that know me closely to understand that, because a lot of people just expect me to just be like, oh, I'm good. And I ain't all the way good, bro. You feel me? Yeah.
Well, on the happy end of it all, you got to perform with your son. Your son performed with you.
That is true. That is true.
How was that feeling, being able to perform with your son? That was something positive.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest moments of my life, bro, to be honest. Like, and then he did it himself. I ain't force him. He was like, man, I want to grab the mic. And I'm like, shh. He on stage rapping. You know, he ain't really like move around too much, but he was rapping, bro. And the fact that he knew my music, the fact that he, you know, just everything about it. As a father, I couldn't ask for nothing more. Like, I'm thankful to the Most High for that. For real, that was the greatest moment of my life almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So would you be going back next year if they throw another event?
I'm going back. Yeah, these folks can't stop what we got going on. Yeah, these folks, man, look, on this life, we gonna see death. We gonna see all type of jobs. We building, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got nothing, bro. We ain't got no paper mills. We ain't got no ammunition companies. We ain't got barely no grocery stores. We ain't got nothing as a people. So to sit here and stop because we feel like these folks plan to attack, that ain't happening. So yeah, I'll be back and we gonna be stronger than ever. I'll be back. I ain't lying. I thought about that before, man. I'm like, shh. Cause you know, it ain't nothing nobody talked about yet, but I'm like, yeah, ain't nothing gonna stop me from getting on that boat and going back. I know how to swim, you feel me? But you know, you think about it, it's a little bit of PTSD there, but I'll tell you right now, I'm going back. I know they're gonna call me back and I'm going.
So the last topic I want to talk to you about is SCAD buying up property in Savannah. All right. So SCAD owns 179 properties and has reshaped the historic district, the Victorian and the streetcar districts south of Forsyth Park. Residents in the areas talk about the impact on the property values and the displacements on their neighbors and the effect of SCAD's growth has on their quality of life. Is SCAD gentrifying Savannah?
Savannah getting gentrified. SCAD is a part of it. SCAD, this has been a conversation since I've been little. I think about the projects, all that area right there. That ain't used to be like that. Over the years, they made it like that. And then even right there by Frazier, I was talking about Yamacraw, over there by downtown, all them SCAD buildings and all that. And then most recently, they got one tall as the bridge. I always thought that we couldn't build so high in Savannah. So I'm like, hold on, SCAD can build that tall, but nobody else could. So, you know, it's something to think about, but Savannah is changing all the way around. Like, and it's more than just SCAD, because you gotta think them students, it's like, you know, they're not here all year, and you know what I mean? But it's part of the money, but I think it's the tourism more than anything, you feel me? And Savannah trying to cater more to that and kind of providing that space that's safe. Because back in the G, it wasn't safe for you to tourism here. I mean, they still did it. I don't know how, especially when you had a lot of cash on you. You getting robbed, all type of job down there. You know what I'm saying? But they want to make it more safe. And you do a little something, and they gonna give you a lot of time here. And I seen that here in Savannah. They'll catch you with $1,000, a pack of Newports, and 2 ounces of weed, and they'll have you on the news like you El Chapo. You feel like, hold on. Then they put the Newports on the news and all that. Like, hold on, man, I ain't got to see the man's cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? So I say like, it's just part of the society more than anything, but SCAD is a huge part of it. And, but people can't, you know, I think you got to be part of the mix too. A lot of us want to, oh, SCAD buying up this, but what you buying? You buying polo, you buying this and that. You could have bought property. You know what I'm saying? I done seen people, mamas die. A lot of them boys out in Car Village, them people own them houses. They selling them for 80, 90 bands to go spend their money on foolishness. And it's like, so let SCAD do what they do then. You know what I mean? I think, you know, because the society got to run itself. And if they say our generation is the only generation of African Americans that did worse than their parents, ain't been a generation since we got here, or since, you know, they modernized history. I know we've been here, but like, so it's like, yeah, we got to do better with ourselves before we start thinking about what other people doing. And that's the way I go about it. That's the reason why I don't really like get into that. I hear people that, oh, SCAD this, SCAD that. What you doing with your opportunities? You know what I'm saying? You could have bought some property, 10, 15 bands, put down 3% on something, and you paying less than you paying for rent. But most people rather pay 19, 2 bands for rent, and then be trying to rob this man and that man just in order to pay this man. It's not a logic there, and I think we got to get, that's why educating the youth is so important to me. Feel me?
Yes, sir. You working with the kids?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
What's the process that go behind that?
Well, you know,
how you feel helping the kids, giving back?
Well, you know, we don't like saying kids because the definition of kids is baby goats. Yeah. And we know baby goats get slaughtered, you feel me? We're not leading our youth, our children to slaughter, but it's to us, it's preparing our future. The future is now, you know what I mean? And we got to understand that and take that approach. And with the youth, you know, it's kind of how I got out of coaching a little bit, because some of the things we teaching them is for life. And youth, if you're doing football, they thinking you teaching them football skills. They think you teaching them something for the football field. So it's like, no, I'm teaching you something for life. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we got to be prepared for these different attacks. Most people murder, most people do all this when they're young because they don't know how to respond to emotional trauma. Somebody done said something hurtful, or somebody done took their girl, or somebody done did something like this, and they don't know how to respond besides killing, because you're not given any options as a youth on how to handle those situations better. So that's kind of our educational approach, you know, conflict, distress, dealing with emotional trauma, you know, how to speak your emotions. You know what I mean? This is a skill set that we need to have, because we go through a lot, and there's a lot of forces that's against us when you got this kind of skin or darker. You feel me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any changes that you see through the children?
Yeah, you definitely see changes, but you gotta understand a lot of stuff is roots too. You feel me? You plant seeds and you let it root. But you see changes in the children. You see that their minds are open up. Like, we did surveys coming into the classes this year, and you like certain things we asked them, they never been asked these type questions. What are the 7 chakras? What emotion makes you feel the best? You know, different questions we asked them. They're like, hold on, what color do you relate to the most? Do you know that there's powers behind colors? Do you know do you know that there's frequency coming out of your body? Like, they're like, hold on, I know I talk, but do you know that there's actually a frequency coming out? That's why, you know, we get real loud and aggressive with a tone. It don't matter what language you're speaking. You're gonna know that, hold on, but it could be speaking Arabic. You're gonna know it's a problem over there because of the frequency. Yeah. Versus, you know, you talk at a certain tone, people like, oh, that's a love frequency. You feel me? So, you know, teaching the children that young, I think, is very inspiring. You can see it. I done had children open up and just like, man, they start talking about their daddy problems, or they start talking about something, start crying, or And it's like, you can see where you touching them easily as a youth. But our biggest thing is when they get older, they have something to look back on and be like, because I do that. I did capoeira. We used to, it used to be a capoeira center right in between Fraser Homes and Yamacraw back in the day. So we used to walk back with my mama, put us in capoeira. And there's a lot of things I look back on and be like, boy, my capoeira master literally taught me that, but I forgot. But as I got older and started going through stuff, I remembered. You feel me? So we want to just make sure we sowing them roots and them seeds and them more than anything. But you can see the immediate effect too. But I think it's more sort of seeds that we sowing that we really want to take effect in them.
That makes sense, bro. Hey, I just want to say I appreciate you for giving back.
Oh yeah.
I always want, I did that for real, bro.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Say God loves a cheerful giver. You know what I'm saying? So we just give and we just do what we do. I'm grateful for the ones that join me. You know what I mean? Because it's a real leader is somebody that can get you to help. They can get other people to assist without them getting anything from it. And I got a lot of people in my life that just help and help and help, and they're not getting nothing from it, bro. And it's not their goal, it's not their vision, it's something that they're getting involved with. So I'm very grateful for those type of folks that's in my life. The Dr. Charleses, the Amber Lees, you know, the Jonathan Winbushes, the different people that's just been here and been very supportive of this mission and this goal. It's just like to give back in so many different ways. That's what I'm more grateful for, you know what I mean? Because the more we do a rites of passage for the youth, we realizing it's a rites of passage for us, you know what I mean? And I think if a lot of us took that approach, even football coaches, even basketball coaches, in the roundabout, they do feel that and they do know that. It's just they not, you looking at it like I'm a sports coach, and really you bigger than that. You sowing seeds in these children, you know what I'm saying? And I think if we just re-educated ourselves, I tell people that all the time, don't change what you're doing, change your mindset about how you're doing it. My partner just went to go get his CDLs. I ain't seen him in a minute, and he like, oh, he like felt bad about it. Like, I'm getting my CDLs, and cause we ain't hung out in a few years, and you know, he think he ain't doing good. I'm like, bro, if we building a nation, if we building our own resources, you don't think we need truck drivers? You see what I'm saying? But you gotta think, I ain't gonna be driving for these folks, I'm gonna be driving for my folks. So it's just a mindset switch. And I think a lot of us, that's all we gotta do. It's not really change what we doing, cause we already doing what we need to do. You're gonna need lawyers, you're gonna need doctors, you're gonna need truck drivers, you're gonna need school teachers, you're gonna need chefs if you're building a nation, but you gotta have the mindset of, I'm doing this in order to do for self one day and not to contribute to a society that's been created for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you for all the game you done gave today.
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate you, Will. Thank you for stopping in and giving us your time.
Yes, sir. Yes,
laying
sir.
all that good
Yes,
information on us.
I'm grateful for the opportunity, bro. Like I said, I know what's going on out here. You know, we want to be able to provide a platform. I'm rep Savannah till I die. You know what I mean? Because I remember dirt roads, that light in between getting in Cloverdale and getting on 17 or Ogeechee Road. But that used to be a dirt road right there. Like it's little places, so I see it and I love it. We always been second to Atlanta, and we always been kind of behind Atlanta a little bit. So to be part of like that exponential growth of what's happening here right now, I'm grateful. So to have these type of opportunities, I'm thankful for. So when you call me, I say, yeah, I'm pulling up. You already know. You feel me?
Sir, yes, sir.
That's
Tell the
love.
people where they can find you at.
You can find me anywhere at RealWaterNoTap. That's it, RealWaterNoTap. If you go on YouTube, technically it's Real Water Records, but if you type RealWaterNoTap, you'll find me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's love.
No tap.
Give thanks.